Episode. All right, let's do this. Episode 90, Lane Pipe of the PVC Crew. Back to have episode 90.
Don't say it. Don't say
Just
it.
kidding.
Don't say it.
Just kidding.
Let me stop. Don't say it.
Just kidding.
Don't you say it. Because that's my call.
Just kidding. Episode 80. That was kidding. 80.
I'm gonna start laughing if Victor says it.
80.
Okay.
80. Just
Okay,
kidding.
I'm gonna be good.
Episode 80, Lane Pipe of the PVC Crew. First and foremost, it's been a minute since we been back in the box. We had a few things we have to tend to, of course, but we want to make sure everything was good and right as we bring you the content. We appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking along with us, of course. If it's your first time checking in, please like and subscribe if you like what you hear. Give us a chance. We got a lot of good things in the works, of course. But let's get all the pleasantries out the way. Before we do, let me talk to my man, Paul. Paul, you know what time it is. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? Glad to be back here at the table with my brothers. Sorry we've been out for a minute. We had some good stuff going on. You know, I recently just did my first short film with my buddy Jason Lane this past couple of weeks. It turned out to be a real success, and but that being said, you know, once it comes out, I let everybody know when it comes out and stuff like that, and we're gonna be doing a part 2 of it. So doing some good stuff, working some good stuff. So, but other than that, I'm gonna pass it on to my boy Victor. Victor, say what's up with the people.
Oh, good morning, everyone, on this fine Monday. We start this week shooting a new episode of the PVC Podcast Crew. We've been very busy with stuff lately, typically with life and things not related to the podcast, but still, we've been busy. Yeah. It's good to sit back around the round table of Cameron, Paul, and I to discuss today's topic, which I hope you find enjoyable, intriguing, and that you like the video. But please always remember, you liking the video is not required for you to like it. Just press the button. We'll be great.
Talk that talk.
That was great.
Talk that talk.
But before we begin, as tradition, I'm going to be passing this over to Cameron. Cameron, who you may also know as Nerd Boy Fresh.
Freaky. You know, follow me on the gram and all that good stuff. You know how we get down. Before we continue, though, let me go ahead and do a few things, get all the pleasantries out the way, of course. First of all, shout out to all 112 of our subscribers, of course. 113 of them bags? Excuse me, I've skipped one. 113 of our people's been rocking along with us. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you, of course. Let me shout out our affiliates, of course. Shout out to K-Pop Cafe Truck. Shout out to them. Want to definitely show y'all some love. We'll be linking up with y'all soon in September. We didn't forget about y'all. We're gonna link up with y'all. A lot of good things working with them. Shout out to Jason Lang, of course, like my man Paul just said. They just finished shooting their film already. They got that in the works. They're in the final process of getting that taken care of. Part 2 coming on the way. Shout out to
Marcos, the director.
Yeah, shout out to everybody who put in work on that film. Good work from them. Shout out to Dirty Joe, of course. Shout out to him. We gotta get you back on the table sometime soon. Hopefully everything's going good with you, of course.
Oh yeah, shout out to Top Boys. He gonna be.
You know, I'm gonna say again. Shout out to Z. Shout out to you as well, and shout out to all of our other affiliates who've been rocking along with us. I want to make sure we always give props to all the affiliates who've been rocking along with us. And they've got more on the way. We've got a lot of things working, affiliate channels working. If y'all want to know information about that, I have that linked in the bio as well. But at the pre-show, when we were doing the warm-up and the pre-rally, Paul wanted to jump in on this topic or this little scenario. I may clip it a little bit in the video, but for once we haven't seen it, I'm going to bring you up to speed. There was a clip that featured Tyrese. He was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne and a bunch of other people. And what he was talking about was, it was a lot of things that he discussed. But one of the things that he did discuss was how men are allowed to cry and why. And it's a lot of context that goes into it. One of the things that he was addressing in that process was losing a loved one. You know, his life was so impacted by losing his mom that in ways it inspired him to do more and inspired him to like try to strive and achieve more. And even though he didn't have success in certain aspects of what he was striving for, it was his mom who gave him the inspiration to allow him to, at least strive for it. And even when things were kind of like shut down on him, so if people who are unfamiliar with Tyrese, um, he went through a pretty messy divorce. He's going through a pretty messy breakup. He's going through a extremely messy child support situation with him and the mother of his child. Um, and he addressed that, and he literally was breaking down and crying on his thing. And one of the things he did was like, dude, I don't need the tissue. I just want y'all to understand that two things that be true. It's like, yo, just because I'm a celebrity and and I make a good amount of money, that doesn't mean that we don't struggle. And I think that's one thing that people don't understand. People get to the celebrity part and they think that they don't go through issues and scenarios and situations like any other regular person do. You would think that, yeah, well, they got the money, they go money their way out of it. But sometimes money your way out of situations is not always the best option, if that makes sense. You still want to struggle mentally, you still want to struggle emotionally. There's not enough money in the world that he could get, and he said this, that will bring his mom back, for one. He has eons of money. He has the lifestyle, the rims, the cars, the vacation. He got all that. He still doesn't have his mom, who he struggles with not having every single day. And he's battling with people who is basically trying to take his lifestyle in the process. So that's why I want to kind of jump off at that point. But I wanted Paul to get back in and talk his perspective on what he saw, what he heard, and we'll address those.
You know, it takes a big man to go on camera and express his emotions and feelings like that to the world, especially us brothers. We was raised, keep it in, keep it tucked in, thug it out wise. But one thing I took from that, and it kind of broke it. It made me I ain't gonna lie, I cried because it's like you see a grown man going on national whatever. You can go on TV, you can go on camera, but express his feelings about just because a female can get affected by that, so can a man too. I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't affected by my recently going to divorce because I was, you know, and I know my ex was affected. We both was affected, but you know, I'm not gonna say I wasn't affected by when my brother got killed because even though me and my brother have our differences, he's still my brother. I still I love him to death. I wish he was here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and say, I'm not financially struggling because I am. But at the same time, I still maintain things as much as I can if possible. So for me to see something like that, it lets me know, where I stand as not only as a human being but as a man. And maybe if I did express my feelings more, who knows what my life would be right now. Or maybe if I did open up to the right people, who knows where I would be down the line, for as far as my life. Why? So, if I broke down, I cried when I saw that, but at the same time, it lets me know that, a real man can express his feelings in front of the world and not be ashamed about what he's going through and this and that and the other, and to share a tear in it every once in a while. I took that to the heart too. Think you got anything to add on that?
Yeah, sure. Essentially, what that is what people are witnessing is the humanization of a world that likes to dehumanize people. Unfortunately, people who are of a higher status, quote unquote higher status, whether it be in the realm of sports, entertainment, music, industry, or whatever, uh, they are they are forced to not become a person but become a product. And a product doesn't have feelings. A product doesn't have emotions. Products do not struggle. Products are meant to be sold. And that man himself broke the illusion of him being a product by displaying himself, by displaying his emotions on stage, and letting them pour out, showing that he's just as human as everyone else. And that's a problem in the eyes of the industry, which is probably going to make more of a struggle through he's going through right now, which is not right, but that's probably what's going to happen. This man has a long battle ahead of him, and one that will not be won easily, right? And he's going through a lot like any human would. Anyone who loses a parent, especially a mother, is going to be, relatively speaking, not the same anymore because a major component has been removed from their life. Um, it's unfortunate that crying, especially for men, is seen as something as a form of weakness, and that is great, great slander upon the male population. And I have proof for that. Is that how can you call crying weakness when the greatest man who ever lived and the one who has saved souls from hell, that being Jesus of Nazareth, was also known as a man of many sorrows, and he has been recorded in the scriptures openly weeping over the sin and death of the world. How can you call weeping weakness when you weep for what is truly mournful? Right? I mean, crying over like spilled milk or ice cream, yeah, come on, pull yourself together a little bit. But crying over
Hey, it all depends what kind of cereal now.
Okay. Leave you alone.
If my Cocoa Puff is on the floor, man, I'm crying. I'll be mad.
You know what?
You crying over some Cocoa Puffs? Out of all the
if I can't get my toy,
man,
I'm
we had this here conversation. You gonna cry with some Cocoa Puffs? Don't leave you alone. Let that man go, girl. Let him go. My cookie crisp. I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna leave you alone.
It was chocolate milk.
He only cried. He ain't even crying over the cereal. He cried because it's the last of the milk. Dog, I lost the last of the milk. Last of the milk. The last of the milk. Anyway, let me let him go. We getting off track. Go.
But in all truthfulness, yeah, I think it is important to have maturity over your emotions. You shouldn't cry over any little thing. That's a sign of immaturity and I would say weakness. But to cry over what is truthfully mournful, to cry over the death of a family member, to cry over the heinous sin in the world, to cry over the damnation of souls, to cry over what is worth crying over, there is no shame in that, and Christ proves that. Especially in the life of a Christian, you will find a lot to be mournful of. Anyone who plans to become a Christian and thinks that it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, you're horribly mistaken. There will be great joy, but there's also going to be great sorrow. The closer you grow to God and the closer you grow to understanding Him, the more evil you're going to see, not in the world necessarily, but in yourself. When it comes to growing in faith, you're going to start seeing deeper in yourself, and you're not going to see a lot of pretty things. You're not going to see a lot of things that are going to make you smile, joyful, and glad. The only hope you'll have is looking at Christ and knowing He had mercy on you, knowing everything about you. And trust me, no one knows themselves perfectly. Because if you did, you'd probably drop dead. This is why it's very important to cry. I'm not saying you have to cry in front of people on a public bench, but especially in front of, I would say, from the view of the Christian, among the brethren, among brothers, among members of the church, you should feel open and willing to weep over situations, weep over sin, weep over the past, weep over whatever major event is going on in your life currently. Weeping is very natural, and it's how humans deal with grief. Because when you weep, you can move forward. However, it's those who refuse to weep, those who refuse to mourn, find themselves stuck in a situation that they're never going to get out of. It's like a tire in a deep mud pit. It keeps spinning faster and faster and faster. But all it's doing is kicking up mud. It's losing gas. The engine's burning out.
Right.
The battery's dying. It's going nowhere. Instead of getting out and wedging it and pushing it forward, they refuse to get out of the driver's seat.
Right.
But we'll continue on.
No. You know, I'm gonna tag on exactly to that because there's about 3 points I took from what Tyrese was doing. One, he was willing to express in a space where he didn't have to. He didn't have to have that conversation there with cameras on for everybody to see. He could have had that conversation with just Charlemagne or just that team right there away from the cameras. He didn't have to have the cameras on. He could have nixed that whole video and said, I don't want none of this on. He had the power to do that, but he was willing to have that. So here's what I'm going to give Charlemagne some credit and his team some credit. Because they were able to get that conversation piece and get him comfortable enough to have that conversation. One of the things that, really starts to plague us now in our community, especially in the Black community, is no matter what, we have to show that we're strong even when things aren't going well or right. We have to show it. Because if you show any type of weakness, people will assume it as such, and then they will pounce on your weakness. They will, expose your weakness and try and take advantage of you. They will expose your weakness trying to exploit you. They will expose your weakness because it goes into that crowd mentality that we always talk about is, let me pull you down so I can feel like I'm better. So instead of trying to help each other in that midst, a lot of us don't want to really help. They want to just, let me pull this person down. Because I see that he's struggling. Oh, let me pull him down even further. Let me not help him, but let me pull him down so I can move up. It's that it's just that greed mentality of, let me try to look better so I can present myself better in front of the masses. And one of the things that he did was, and the other thing is, I'm not here for the sympathy point. Point number 2. He wasn't doing this to get sympathy points. I don't need the tissue. Yeah. I'm not doing this
that was real nice.
For
that
sympathy.
Was real nice to me.
No. I'm not asking for you to be sorry from me, but learn from me. That's really what he's telling you.
I learned a lot from him.
Learn from me. Learn that I'm able to have this conversation in front of people. Learn that I'm able to open up and express.
But can I make a point what you just said, though, Cam, because it is really important. People don't express certain things, especially when it comes to, like you said, it could be family members or friends, because if they know you struggling and they know you trying to find your way, they'll try to feed you too much energy or feed you too much, stuff, that could be good or bad.
They're trying to take you down with them.
Taking down with because, if I'm doing bad, so why should you be doing it?
Like I said, you will know a lot about people. And I've said this before, but you'll learn so much about people in 2 spaces. When things are extremely good or extremely bad. Get into a spot when things are extremely bad, and you will learn about how people are. Get into a space where you're extremely good, and you will learn how people are. Mm-hmm. And you will learn basically the same information in both spaces. You're going to understand that if that person is really there for you, is they're a man of God or a woman of God, or if they're going to be in support of you, or they're going to be a detractor or somebody who's going to pull you down. You're going to learn everything about that in those 2 spaces.
I'm starting to really learn that now, even with certain people I deal with. And sometimes I feel like, am I good in their eye, or am I good just only in my eyes? But at the same time, I can't believe in that because, if my accomplishments get accomplished, that means, I done it for me, not for, everybody else. I do it for myself, the celebrations and joys come later. But when you go through your own threshold or personal, perseverance in life, that you can sit there and say, if I took some advice, what if it was good information and bad information? What if I take it or not? I still got to breathe the next day. And most people don't understand that because it's like, we all sit there and say, we want to be at that level of relationship. We want to be at the top of the mountain. We want everything to not, struggle and stuff like that. But it's always, one element that goes wrong that make people just say, you know what, maybe it's just best for me to keep it myself.
No.
And one thing I can say that, Tyrese did, it was so joyful, even made me cry when he said that I don't need your tissue. I don't want it. I'm comfortable enough to sit here and tell everybody my personal business, even if it leaks out to the world or not. You can either listen to it or you can learn from it, like you said.
Right. So it goes into what I was going to say next. Me personally, ever since we started the podcast, I've been giving y'all nuggets about my life. Every single podcast we've been on, every single episode, if you really pay attention to everything that's been on every single podcast since the very first one we done at Franto's, and shout out to the ones who saw it even at that point in time, to this very point where we are now. Yes.
But go keep on. I'm not getting
Chinese Place episode 2.
Yeah, we get off track.
Chinese place.
Yeah, we went over to down. The one that was over and down, you was outside and we recorded right across the hall. Yeah. Episode 2. Anyway, don't worry about that.
That's what I said. Go ahead, Cam.
I don't think I had a picture of her yet.
You didn't. You did. Different conversation for a different day. I've been giving y'all.
I'm sorry. That was really good.
It was.
Go ahead.
That means we getting old. It's cool. We all right. I've been giving y'all nuggets about my life in every single episode, here and there. Now, does that mean I've been crying over every single piece of it? No. Because here's the one thing that I've kind of learned. And here's the one thing I understand about Tyrese. And this is the position that I'm in. And I've been in this space for a long period of time. It goes into something that my pastor, Pastor Billy, taught me years ago. And I've been rolling with it. Dead to praise and dead to criticism. Let me explain that for the people in the back. I don't get so gassed up when things are going well that I get a big head and I think I'm above everybody else. When things are really, really bad, when things get low, yes, it may hurt and I may struggle, but I'm never going to get down to where I'm going to be doing something stupid like trying to delete myself or anything like that. There is always a middle ground in which I mentally, spiritually, and emotionally fly to make sure that I am balanced in most aspects. Does that mean that I don't cry at all? No, I do cry from time to time, but it's not probably nearly as much. Why? Because I am willing to express to anybody at any point in time about anything aspect that happens in my life, whether it's past relationships, past hurts, things with my mom, things with my dad, things with my sister, things with my family, things that happen to me personally or professionally. I am willing to have that conversation with anybody and everybody. And certain people will say that, dog, well, if they really saw the aspects of my life, they would think that, oh, well, you're extremely successful. Kind of. But that doesn't mean I get a big head about it. Or that means that, dog, you were really homeless at this point in time? Yeah. But it didn't really get me to the point where it was like it was the end of the world either. Every single step that happened got me to this point where I sit right now where I can have the conversation with each and every one of you. And it's not because of anything that I did per se. It's because I had God with me who opens up the doors, who closed doors, who shifted doors, who put the people in my life, who shifted people out of my life, who shifted more people into my life to make sure that every single step that I take is every single step that He intends for me to take. Does that mean that it's a perfect walk? No. Does that mean that you don't struggle? No, you're going to struggle. You're going to have highs. You're going to have lows. You're going to cry. You're going to have an emotional breakdown. You're going to, have great stuff that happen in your life. How do you handle it? One thing that I learned is everything is a teaching moment. Tyrese just said, I don't need the sympathy. Let me teach y'all how I maneuver in this space. I'm a celebrity. I have the bread. I have the money.
On that episode right there.
I have the bread. I have the money. I have all the stuff. True. But that doesn't mean I don't struggle. The one thing, the third aspect, and I want to touch on this point, which was super important because this part flew over everybody's head. Everybody was worried about that stuff. He said the reason why he wanted to get married was because of his mom. People forget that aspect. People skip over that part. He said, it was my mom who inspired me to get married to the person who he got a divorce, had a kid from, who is trying to, I ain't gonna say extort, that's the wrong term, I'm sorry, trying to extract a god amount of money just because he's a celebrity. And that's terrible. So I'm gonna take from that point and jump to this conversation. We had it before when we talked about money. Is money the root of all evil?
No.
Elaborate. What is the root of all evil?
Oh, well, that's easy. Man's sinful heart. The problem is that phrase is heavily misquoted. It's kind of been misunderstood. Because people say it wrong all the time. They say money's the root of all evil. No. It clearly says, I'll pull it up in a second, but it clearly says, money is the root of all kinds of evil. Or money is an accessory to evil, but it's not the cause of evil. And this is proof of the fact that there are those men in the Bible who are extremely wealthy by today's standards, right? But they're not living wickedly before the Lord.
Or I'm gonna let you jump in. Or let me say to the King James, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Again,
the love of it, and I'll elaborate because it's going to go exactly to what you say. But go ahead.
Well, again, money's merely an accessory. Money's dragging out what was always within the person to begin with.
That's what I was trying to get you to come out. Wait till you say those words next.
Because it's literally thankfully we got a little fish right there to give you an idea. But it's like bait, right? It's bait on a hook. It's just pulling out what was always within a person. The same thing when a person gets famous. They seemed humble when they were living comfortably, but then they start living extravagantly. People say, oh, well, you've changed. No, they've always been that way. They just never had a way to express it. Money allows people to express who they really are. That's all fame and money really does. It amplifies what the noise already was.
Correct.
Can I elaborate?
Come on.
No, that was perfectly said. It's a yes or no for me. Reason why, because money is not always the cause of evil. It's how you use it, or how you deal with it. But it can affect certain things around you. It can affect a relationship. Money can cause a relationship to go down because it's like
Stop. Money can cause a relationship to go down.
Of course.
Why?
Because you really want me to say it? Okay.
You ain't talking to me. Okay. You are talking to the kids in the back. You know, the 112 with the 10 kids in the back who just now got their head woke and they're here talking about money.
Money can ruin a relationship. The reason why I say that because it's an aspect of things. It's how people see you as a not only like an element or a tool as a savior, but then when the money runs out, people true colors come out and people will change on you. Then when you're down at your lowest at the low and they at the top of the top, and then you reach out like you reaching out for candy, but they won't give your piece back, then it causes attention and then people walk away.
So when Vic said about Tyrese, he was more than just a product.
Yes. Because here's the thing.
Because basically what you're saying is that, you're being treated not as a human, not as a person, but because I have money, I am just a product.
Let me clarify.
I'm just,
Let me
this not for you. This for the kids in the back.
Let me clarify what I'm saying.
School's in session.
Because when you got it, and everybody know you got it, and you go out and say, you know what, hey, it's on me. It's on me. But then when you say it ain't on me no more, people can change their point of view about you.
Meaning that
that, oh, I'm so used to, him picking up the tab. Now he's not picking up the tab. So now, he's not cool to be around no more because, now he's struggling and now I got it. But now he's going to see me if I'm going to come out the pocket for him. Oh, no, I'm not coming out the pocket. I was just enjoying, everything you was doing for me.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. This is the point I'm trying to get to.
No.
This is the point I'm trying to get
what you're saying.
It's not the money, it's the love of it. Meaning that people will do the craziest things for money.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's because they love money so much that they're willing to do so many.
But that's why I said that's why I said it's a yes or no.
No, it's not even a yes or no. It's this thing because it's not the fact that it's
money. Here.
No, I'm not saying. No,
let me just say, take it for me. If I say if I had a bunch of money right now, yeah, I might act different, but for myself. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh well, I'm gonna go spend all this and this and that and the other, because I know at the end of the day, it might not be there the next day.
Sideways example. I got you. Sideways example. But it just happened. I got you. Sideways example.
Let me get along.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
Here's the problem that I have. Your mentality towards money should not change just because you have a little bit more. Allow me to say it again for the kids in the back. Your mentality should not change about money when you get a little bit more. What do I mean by that? Just because you got a little bit more, I'm gonna demonstrate for the kids in the back because I got a little bit of paper. Just because you got a C note. Oh, I'm sitting on the C note. I've been riding the C note for 2 weeks. I'm in cool, still getting my regular meals, whatnot. All right, bet. So I got another couple of $100. So now I've been riding the $300 because my money has been growing a little bit, been doing a little bit more. I got a little bit more bread in my pocket. Does that mean I go out and go eat at Spaghettini's just because I got an extra $200 in my pocket?
Ideally, no.
Right. So do I change the mentality do I have just because I got an extra couple of $100 in my pocket? The answer to the question is no. The reason why is because I take the same mentality if I had $5 to when I have $500. And I take that same mentality if I had $500 do I have $5,000 or $500,000. You want to know why? It's because I'm not going to change who I am
over some change,
over a little bit of paper. Does that make sense? Because here's what's going to happen. It's like what you said. Certain people are going to ride. Oh well, he got this money. He should be able to take care of the table. No, I'm not obligated to take care of the table. Does that make sense? If I choose to, then that's on me. But I'm not obligated to do it because just because I have it, that doesn't mean that I'm going to constantly have it or it cannot be taken away, because one of the things that you have to be of is a good steward when it comes to stuff. Let me explain that to the kids in the back. You got to be really diligent with the things that you have, even when it's small, because if you're not diligent with stuff when it's small, you're not going to be rewarded with it when it becomes bigger, because the Lord's not going to give you bigger if you're not prepared to handle bigger. So now you ask, well, why is there certain people who are in the streets and all this stuff, and they got all this money and stuff. They're going about it the wrong way. And guess what happens to them? They're not long enough to really see the fruits of that 9 times out of 10.
Taking penitentiary chances.
They're taking chances. They're not just taking penitentiary. They're taking penitentiary, but people think it from a hood way. Well, they're in the street pushing away. No. Let's talk about these. We can talk about these corporate people who do the same thing. They call it white collar crimes or blue collar crimes. Same thing. They're still just taking penitentiary risks. It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
I think people fail to realize
because you're doing it because of money, and that's not even the point I was trying to get to. But go ahead.
What people fail to realize is that they assume that those who make a lot of money, those who have a lot of money or resources or whatever, they trick themselves into thinking that that person is wise, or that person knows what they're doing. And on the outside, yeah, it's very convincing. They may have what that person desires, whether it be material or status or whatever, right? And they merely see the surface of something, but underneath they don't see the barely functioning machine. And what I mean is that, like you said, yeah, with corporate or, with street or with in-home or whatever,
right?
Anywhere really, those who are flaunting money or those who seem like they have money typically don't. Most people who are smart with their finances, or better yet, just responsible. I mean, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be smart to be responsible.
That's what I'm trying to get you to. Responsible, yes.
Right? Because there's a difference between smart and responsibility. Typically, yes, they go together. But what I mean is you can be responsible with whatever you have, and you will be better off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Typically, what I'm trying to say is essentially that responsibility is not flashy, but it is far more rewarding.
Correct. And that's why I try to get people what I'm saying. That doesn't mean that, here's the thing about, you said a good point. This person may be smart with money, meaning that they may know how to get the money. Now, a lot of people always follow the money because, like, well, if this person got to $100,000 this way, I should follow them to get to that $100,000. But here's two things to be true. One, are you really looking at the path of how they got to that $100,000 and what they are sacrificing for one to get to that $100,000? Oh yeah, let me elaborate, ladies. So for all the ladies who chime along in this part of the podcast, if you actually got this far along, this part is for you. So when you see all these ladies chasing and all this stuff, they're going to do things literally on the strength of the money. Part of it, it's twofold. It's a twofold to be true.
Yeah.
Here's two paths that they go. They chase the dude whom they don't love, but they love their resources. They love the fact that he has the money.
Like a sugar daddy?
Yes. Well, it doesn't be necessarily a super older dude that we consider a sugar daddy.
Okay.
All a sugar daddy is just somebody who provides for somebody else's lifestyle.
It's called a personal agent.
No. They're just the person. They're just the one who. Yeah, exactly. They're the ones who provide for the lifestyle. So they don't like the way they look. They don't like their personality. They don't like any of that stuff. They don't like none of that stuff. They just like the fact that they got money. And then they will find any way to get that money off of him. So here's what happens. They'll go be with said person, get with them. Take the Tyrese example. He gets married to her, have a baby, they get a divorce. She's chasing for $20,000. I'm taking the Tyrese example, ladies. Follow me. So now, what he said is that during the time that they had their baby to now, we didn't spend $20,000 on the baby at all with an open card, meaning that they had money at their disposal and they never spent $20,000 on their kid. But you have your hand out just because you're divorced and say, I want $20,000 a month for a kid that you clearly didn't spend that type money when y'all work together. So why do you need the $20,000?
Flash
Because no. I'm gonna elaborate, ladies, and I'm gonna elaborate, fellas, because y'all this is a lesson for both. But I'm gonna elaborate. No, it's not even just flash money. It's the evil part. She's being evil. Didn't I say the love of money is the root of all evil? Here's the thing about being evil. She's not doing it just to fund her lifestyle. She's doing it because she don't want to see Tyrese have any type of semblance of success because she wants to show that, well, I'm the one who's better. Knowing that it's his money that's giving to her to fund said situation. And so she's being evil because she's being vindictive just to ask for the money. And now she's doubling up and say, no, he's making more money. Oh, I don't want just $20,000. Now I want $40,000. Why? Because she's being evil just in the pursuit of money. That's what I'm trying to tell you about. It's not the money. It's the love of it. She wants money so much, not for anything else, because she's trying to use it as try to weaponize it and tool it to try to bring him down. But go ahead and get your point.
So this is essentially vampire behavior. That's the strongest comparison I can think of to that kind of behavior for anyone. But vampire, like literally, his life essence,
right?
In a way, not his life force, but his life essence, his way of life. She's trying to devour it like a damn vampire. That's right. And I mean, sadly, this is a very common tale nowadays. I mean, this is the one we're hearing about, but surely this is happening not only in the nation but across the globe. These kinds of people, and it's with dudes too.
No, dudes is doing it in a different way. And I'll explain dudes. I'm gonna get to the dudes and say no to work. Don't you worry.
But all I'm saying is that this kind of behavior is marked by typically. I mean, yeah, I could say it's marked by sin, but that's too bit of a broad term. More specifically, it's marked by a what's the terminology I would use here? We're recording, right?
Yeah, no, we could go.
Okay.
No, I'm just looking at the.
I didn't take the lens off.
Shut up.
But no, in all seriousness,
it's Spotify only.
But such behavior is a result of something that kills anyone living a life of self-indulgence. Have you ever heard of this? Do you know what an Ouroboros is?
Elaborate for the kids. Right?
Okay. An Ouroboros, it's an old pagan symbol, but it suits the situation to give you a visual idea. An Ouroboros is a infinity symbol, but instead it's a snake devouring its own tail.
Yeah, it's like the yin yang, but it's a snake.
It's either an infinity symbol or a circle. Either way, it's a snake eating its own tail. And that's what these people are. They're destroying themselves in the fulfillment of filling themselves. And when you go about such evil ways to fill your own stomach, you are only devouring your own life, not only in this life, but in the eternal life to come, which is far more important. Self-destruction is just that, self-destruction. And when you go by any means to fulfill your own desires, your own self, you are quite literally devouring your own soul. I mean, people like to say, oh, so-and-so made me do it, the devil made me do it. Even they'll go as far as say God made me do it. No one makes you do anything. No one forced you to start devouring yourself. No one forced you to start living a life of wickedness. No one forced you anything. The only thing the devil could ever do to you is put temptation in front of you, but you could never, ever say he made you bite it.
Correct.
Or else you would not be guilty. But we know all are guilty. Essentially what I'm saying is, as always, is self-destruction is brought upon by, surprise, surprise, self. And that's what we witness with this. People who are thinking that I'm going to do this in order to secure myself in the future and make sure I get what I want, they've only secured damnation. That's the only thing anyone can do when they decide to live like this, to chase unjust wealth, to devour the resources of another, waiting in the bushes to pounce on someone like a lion who has not eaten. Such evil behavior is evident in many, and this is just another one that we see. They'll use all forms of justification. I need this money to take care of our child, or I need this money to live, or that. Evil will say anything but it makes
But here's the thing. I know what you're about to say, but but then that goes back to my original demonstration of if you are good with money early or good with anything early and you're disciplined with it, you don't have to worry about, well, I need to pounce on this person to get here. Ladies, you don't necessarily have to resort to, well, my only resort to get some sort of money is to go to OnlyFans. Oh yeah, I didn't forget about that.
No.
I heard y'all earlier, but I'll address it. I'll address it just so y'all can hear that part too. So y'all will go through pathways. No. But see, here's the reason why. Because they see a few of these ladies get successful, have the lifestyle, partying, all this stuff, because they want to have it. And then they show it off on social media. And then they were like, well, if this is the path in which for me to get to this point, I'm going to follow said path to get to this point.
Fast money.
No, yeah, but see, here's the thing. So when you think the fast money, it's going to be hard for you to get what you truly want. So what do you want? You want money? You want to be married? Do you want to have kids? You want to have all this stuff? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to likely, because of choices that are being made now, the fail rate is going to be super high because you either A, did one of a few things, put your expectations so high that you're just going to be unattainable. B, your lifestyle is going to be as such that people won't really take you as serious until you dial it back. Now, I'm going to talk about one of my peoples. I know she would prefer me not to, but I'm going to talk to her because she's a perfect example of how dialing it back. So I was talking to one of my girls who used to do OnlyFans and stuff for a long period of time. She stopped. You know why she stopped? Because her dude, whom she got with, said, for you to be with me, you got to stop this. But in turn, I'm going to put you in a position where you can still make some money, still do it in a respectable way, and still be able to build. And now we can build this together. So her dude and her now have a full-on real estate. They have a full-on real estate business. But he got her out of that path because what she was doing was following in the path. He said, look, you don't have to follow this path. Let me redirect your path a little bit and show you that it can be different. You can still get into some money. Yeah. I'll be there for you, but you have to do this. And she was making good money doing that type of social media content. She dialed everything back. She killed her pages off, and now she's doing real estate. And believe it or not, I am super proud of her because most women wouldn't have gave it up. Most people don't give up when they got that type money, that type fame, that type stuff. It's hard for them to get off of it because they're recognizable, they got money, they're in parties, they're in events. Guess what? She's still at parties, she still got the lifestyle, she's still at events, but she's not doing it in a way that is disrespectful to herself, let alone the dude who she's with. So, but guess what? It's just like Big said. Even though he presented that to her, she still had to make the choice to say yes or no. This happens with guys too. So let me address the guys. So guys, you get this all the time too. Yo, we can put you on game. We can do this. We can set you up a little bit of something. You flip this 1 or 2 times. Come back, come see me 1 or 2 times. You know, we'll make this work. You know, we are true, right? Or I'm I got a couple of paper. I think I'll give you a little bit of bread. Here's a little bit of money. Yada yada yada. Go do this. Go do a little something for me. Come back. I'll give you a little bit more. Give you some on the front end. Give you some on the back end. All right, bet. You get a lot of that stuff too. But see, it happens both ways. But see, people are so caught up in the chase of money that they are willing to just do anything, be with anybody, just on the strength of money. If you could be bought, that means somebody with more money can buy you. You do understand why a lot of these girls go to Dubai and get some of the most craziest stuff done to them basically on the strength of they are the highest bidder. They have these dudes over there got the money, but what they ask you to do when you get over there to get said money, you be like, dog, I really don't want to do this, but because they're giving you money, I'll just go ahead and do it anyway.
Would you say it's slavery without the chains?
Kind of. Because basically you're just dangling money in front of people's faces, and guess what the problem is? Because of everybody's in their pursuit of money, and they will do the evilest of things just to get money.
Or worse, it's not.
It's the love of it. It's not money. It's just because they love it so much. They love the money because they know the money generates the lifestyle. And it's not even a lifestyle. It's just so them to show off. Yeah. It's just for them to be flashy. They don't even need the money.
I think one of the worst things is the effect social media has had on just the human race.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's... I like with most things, like with the internet, with, anything. Like, prime example, dynamite, which was originally made just to help people with mining, and to get them sweet metal resources. However, it didn't take long for it to be turned into a devastating weapon. Point being is, what I'm trying to say is that most things that start out with good intentions are typically used with malice intent not that far into the future, and prime example is social media. When social media came out, it was such a phenomenal idea. You'd be able to chat with your family, and they could be on the other side of the country and whatnot. Sure, you had to deal with dial-up internet, but times were primitive then. My point being now is that what it was when it started, where it is now, what it is now is no longer about actually being social. The social part has been removed. The media part, it's not social media, it's more of show-off media. Everyone is simply showing off what they have, whether it be talent or quote-unquote talent, or body or wealth or material or wisdom or whatever it is. It's a platform for people to show off whatever they have, and that's why it's this big contest. Social media is a contest more than anything, where people are constantly trying to one-up each other, especially people within a group.
That's a fact. It is very competitive. That's a fact. Well, but I will say that. But social media, in its first inception, it wasn't. People say, what was the purpose of it? The first iteration of social media was a dating app. Mm-hmm. You do understand that Zuckerberg created. No, you do understand Zuckerberg created Facebook literally to try to be able to connect with girls.
I don't know if it's true.
No, that is exactly true. That is exactly true. MySpace and Facebook was designed to basically interact with girls so they could connect with them instead of them having.
So instead of MySpace, it was My Babes.
It just expanded. When you think about it, you expanded the base of it. But we discussed this before. The only difference between then versus now is that now it's just the money aspect in between. That's all it is. It's, social media is, talent showcase, all that stuff now. But in its very inception into most of now, what is it? More or less, it's like all of them are just big dating apps at this juncture. Because again, what do you hear all the time? Oh, he found me sliding in the DMs. Chasing.
You came up with the word
DMs. Chasing. No, direct message, DMs. That's not it. We know what it is. But I'm just saying that it's just but that's just the whole thing of that's how this started, and it didn't deviate from that premise. So we haven't deviated from it.
What was a food menu? Hey, let me get 2 pieces of DMs over there.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You make a good point. Let me get 2 of them DMs. Basically, what you're saying is, if I throw X amount of money toward these females, no. You said it. I'm gonna take your premise. You said, let me get 2 of them DMs. So let's say you threw a DM in the air with no bread, then you don't get no attention. But let's say you threw a DM with a couple of $100 attached to it. Here's $100 for your meal. Here's $100 for your meal. Guess what you get? A response.
Well, you gotta put some worms on them books.
You get a meal, right? Mm-hmm. A meal for the meal, right?
I've done that.
No, but see, you shouldn't have to.
I know, but
They said like $2 and $1 menu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just said it's like a menu. You literally just said it is.
I've done that.
There.
That is your dating market. That is your dating market. Your dating market is literally like that. No, here's the thing. You're funny, but you're factual. Your dating life in this way that you know it is. Yeah, you can pull up. You can pull up with these set of people, and it's like $1 menu. You can pull up here. It's like going to Starbucks. You like going over here. It's like going to like Applebee's. You can go here, and it's like going to Spaghettini. You can go here. It's like going to Nobu.
It's like, man, how was?
But here's the thing: money, more money, more money, more money, more money. That is your dating life in a nutshell. Y'all do understand that because literally how women are so chasing after money is that I don't even want to talk to you if you don't have no money. Not knowing that you work a good job and you work a good job and y'all generate a good enough money to supply for any one of them at any point in time. But here's the thing. They want you to just flash that stuff off. You could come in there playing up everything and they think that, oh, you don't have no money. But if you get the illusion of, well, let me go put on the ice, let me go put on the thing.
Wait.
And you go to the menu, right? So if I pull up, let somebody go to McDonald's and pull up.
Just said something. I gotta chime in on. So, do you watch that YouTube thing with the dude with the car who got the Maserati?
Yeah.
He fake. Yeah. I love that.
No. So it's like that. So if you pull up, right, because if you pull up with nothing, if you pull up with nothing, they think that I'm gonna go away. But if you pull up with a little something, it's like, oh, let me give you the time of day. We can go shopping because, like I said, especially because the women they're so evil. This one saying it's kind of evil. They were so evil about their response. We'll take that example. There are, the video example for people in the back room. There's a couple of content creators. What they do is that they do pranks on girls who are potential gold diggers. When they see them with somewhat of nothing, then they don't give them the time of day. But when they see them with a little something, then they want to give them some attention. So what I mean by that is that these women are so evil that you see them badmouth them. Your stuff is fake. This is nothing, all this stuff. But when they hear the clink of the car, then it's like, oh no, he kind of really had it. Not knowing that he could have rented the car or whatever it may be. You don't know that.
They're so short-sighted.
They're so excited about the potential of because they're so evil. Because they so badmouth these dudes when they do it. They're like, oh, I hate this dude. You don't give me the time of day. I got a boyfriend. All this stuff. As soon as the car turns on, now you want to hop in the car. Thought you had a boyfriend. Well, my boyfriend don't mind. So you're willing to be bought. We just had this conversation. So basically, he just chose you. You may think you're the Nobu menu, but he just chose you off the Starbucks menu. You're basically no different than getting a strawberry frappuccino because you were so willing to just jump into somebody's car.
Is it a Vente or is it a Vente? What size?
It don't matter what the size is. Everything on there is no better than $10.
You know, bigger size need more money. So.
But I'm just saying that. What I'm saying is that you are so easily to be bought. So basically, if you're dangling enough money, you can get your choices up.
Isn't this just prostitution with extra steps?
Yes, kids. But I just the reason why I brought that in because it all ties into what it's like the money conversation. I always tell you, it's going to make it hard in y'all. It's going to make it hard in y'all dating life because there's a lot of things that y'all going to struggle with as far as like trying to decipher people's true intentions. And it's hard. And you won't know that until you're in the trenches. And even when you're in the trenches, things tend to change. And then you will see that, well, this person may be, oh, they're cool now, but they may be really vindictive when it comes to this.
After all, if you study history, you know there's plenty of rats in the trenches.
Exactly. And this is why I say it's tough. It's tough out here. It's tough out here, fellas. It's tough out here, ladies. I'm letting y'all know. But I think that what y'all really have to do is really kind of, really be mindful of the money conversation. I understand that we need money to do certain things. I understand we may want some money to do certain things. But like I said at the beginning, you will never get rewarded or blessed or anything of that sort if you are not good with what you have right now. If you are terrible with money right now, you could get $100,000 and blow it in a day. I'll use an example. Somebody was playing slots and won $35,000, and everybody was saying everybody was saying that everybody was saying that, oh, you should go back in and spend the money back into the slots. No, because of how disciplined this dude was, he had that 35. He still played and he still made money. But the thing was, he knew to get up out of there. He knew to get up out of there. And this is somebody who's just in the gambling circuit, who gambles for a living, by the way, who knew how to get up out of there. But most people, because of their pursuit of money so much, is that they would gamble and get too excited and lose all their money because they're not being a good steward of the money that they have. Even in that aspect where you really kind of shouldn't even be doing that. But that's a different conversation for a different day.
The same thing is that before even taking responsibility, they'll blame the casino.
Yes. No. And here's the thing. And they'll be the same ones who be at said casino and be like, well, I was up 5,000, but then now I'm down. And then they're pulling money out. And then they're playing with their food money, their rent money, their car money. And then they're like taking loans out to do it. This is how bad it can get if you are not disciplined with your money. A lot of things have to, and this thing is, discipline is not just in money aspect. Discipline is in everything. If you're disciplined in your money, if you're disciplined in your relationship, guess what you do? You're still a good steward of your money. You're still not cheating. You're still doing the right things by your significant other. You're disciplined. If you're disciplined in your job, that means that, oh, well, I'm at a job when I'm not stealing, I'm not doing any type of sexual harassment, I'm not like mouthing off on my boss. That's discipline too, by the way. People don't get it. Discipline follows you in everything that you do. But you got to you got to have some sort of sense of discipline. People mess up their situations because they're undisciplined.
Well, I'll put it like this before we...
But we're going to wrap up because we got to get to it.
One thing I learned from my grandfather, God rest his soul, next month is going to make his first year anniversary of him being gone. So he taught me something years ago when I was young, and he always told me this. The first chance, because he always said, you're going to struggle in life. I'm going to just be honest with you. But the first chance when you get you some of that real money, make sure you take care of the ones, or you do something valuable to the point that when you're not here anymore, you'll be proud of what you're doing. And I take that. I hear that word every day, and it sticks with me. It's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life because we say that money don't change us. It does change me. But for me, if I had a chance to get the actual money, I'm gonna do something spectacular. Whether it is if I'm gonna go buy my grandparents' house back, or whether it is I'm gonna go donate it to charity, or whether if I'm gonna go build up a brand new gym for my gym where I train it, or put it into something valuable so that it'll keep coming in. So I take and I will say I have taken that for granted, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't blow off my money in Miami, because I did. We get a little money, we get a little too excited. I'll be the first to admit that. 20-year-old in us, we get a little, egg-headed, get a little, we try to floss around some girls, That's just the nature of us. We're guys, we do that stuff. But I will say this before it takes a real man to admit his mistakes, and it takes a real man to get on there and say, you know what, I've been hurt in the same position too. I can cry in front of everybody. I don't care who says something. So say this in my last, in the final words as we wrap it up. You know, the struggle is real, but if you can't keep a grasp on it, or you can't, you know, ask the right things to the right people, you know, you're still going to stay in that foxhole. But it's up to you to see if you want to see your life go better. And sometimes you might have to cut certain people off in order to get where you got to get to. Even for me, it's even the ones even closer. It can even be your own mother. Not saying, you know, you don't love your mom. You're always gonna love your mom. But sometimes you gotta dish yourself away to order, you know, to establish your own, not only greatness, establish your own life to be happy. So that's all I gotta say, guys.
Cool. Bitch, final words. Go ahead. Since we doing final words.
Final words. Well, Paul did put it well when he said that his grandfather told him he was going to struggle. Um, because the truth about life is too many people live their life trying to escape struggling. Here's the thing: you won't. You never will. You're going to struggle from life to death. Even whether you believe in Christ or you choose to disavow Christ or anything, struggling is to be found in this life. And woe to those who come to Christianity looking to escape struggling. You won't. If anything, you'll find more to struggle about. But Christianity is not about escaping struggling. It's about finding out how to deal with it. And to go with life in general, what I'm trying to say is if you think you can escape struggling by getting a bigger paycheck, by having new status, by having new wealth, you're a fool. You're actually downright idiotic. You're not. If that was true, why do so many celebrities kill themselves? You don't escape struggling through material wealth. You don't escape struggling. You don't escape struggling through status. You don't escape struggling through mindless religion. You don't escape it. You never will. What you do is find out how to properly live with it. And the Bible tells you how. Christ every day beckons the people of the world to come to him. Those who are weary with a heavy burden, come to him. He will give you rest. That doesn't mean the struggling's gone, but you now have the strength to give it to the one who can handle it. Too many people are so foolish to think that they can handle the struggles in their lives. And maybe for a time they can, but their strength is not infinite. Their wisdom is not infinite, and certainly not their wealth. They may be able to stand for a time, but like anything, they will collapse. Don't be foolish. Don't be moronic, and don't be so self-righteous in thinking you can handle your own problems and your own struggles. You can't. Nobody can. Except Christ. Always Christ. That's all I can ever tell you. That's all I'll ever say, because it's the only thing I have worth saying. This is not my wisdom. These are not my words. This is simply the wisdom of the Bible, which if any of you take the time to pick up and read, you will see is free to all. You don't have to suffer. Not now, and not forever, but it's your choice. I'm not going to force you to do anything. That won't do anything. But you can't claim ignorance now. You've heard and you now know. So you can't say, well, I never knew. That's a lie. You know. I encourage you. Just die to yourself and live to him. It's not easy. Like I said, you won't escape struggles. But you'll now find rhyme, reason, and purpose, and all true rhyme, reason, and purpose. Eternity's a long time, people. Eternity's a very long time. You want to make sure that it's not the one with fire. That's all I gotta say. Cameron, take the mic.
Understand that no matter where you are in life, just like the boy said, you're going to have struggles. That struggle's going to come in all forms and all sizes and stuff, and it doesn't matter if you are working a regular job, doing regular life, or you're a celebrity making a whole bunch of money. Just because you got more, that doesn't mean that the problems and the struggles are not as real as a fishing rod. They're all real. They're all going to be there. It's always going to be in your face at any point in time. It's not the what, it's how. How do you handle said situation? You know, you gotta have the discipline, the strength, the mental fortitude, the spiritual fortitude, all of the above, to make sure that you not just maintain, that you excel and push through.